What's up, everybody? Hope you're having a great day. Hope y'all having a blessed day, man. Back with another video. Today I wanted to talk about something that I have not seen, people talk about on this platform and stuff like that. And, you always come across videos about, loneliness and not having friends. And it's always about how, you fail to fit in with your peers and, how today people are very superficial and stuff like that. And all that is true. But I also wanted to talk about the reality of life, especially after you get out of school. For a lot of y'all that be maybe in your 20s, or maybe you graduated high school, you ain't going to college, you know what I mean? I feel like a lot of people in that situation have no friends, and it's not even because you don't fit in. Like, you could have been the most popular person in your high school, you could have been popular in college, and then once you get out into the real world, you get lonely. You feel very isolated. And it's because, there's no communities anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you look back earlier, in the earlier days of the world, I guess, you know what I'm saying? Look at boomers, Gen X, all that. They had communities because people went outside. Like, there was general trust for your neighbor. There was general trust for people around you. Going outside was a regular thing, bro. Like, you were weird. You were considered weird if you stayed inside all day. You were considered weird if nobody knew who you were. You're supposed to know your neighbor. You're supposed to know the people living on your block. And nowadays, we don't know who live next to us. Like, y'all don't see that as weird? You don't even know who lives next to you. You've never seen them come out the house. You yourself barely go out the house unless you're taking in the trash. It's weird to see people walking. I went on a walk the other day and I felt weird, bro. Because nobody else was walking. I'm walking by all these cars, man. And I feel like I'm getting looks from people like, man, I wonder if he's homeless. It's weird to go outside, man. And it's leading to the lack of community. We have such a lack of community, man. Because back then, bro, like, community was like, community was all the kids in the neighborhood, you know what I mean, playing outside, playing and stuff like that. Kids ain't outside playing no more. They on their iPads, they on their leapfrogs, whatever they using nowadays. You know what I mean? There's no communities even amongst the adults. The adults ain't even going outside. The adults is crazy because our parents always talking about go outside, or at least my parents was always telling me go outside, don't be on video games all day. But man, my parents be inside all day. As soon as they get a day off, they be inside, bro. Back then, you knew who, like, you know what I mean? People was chilling out on the porch. You know what I'm saying? You knew who was in your neighborhood. It was normal. It was normal. And now we don't have community anymore. There is such a lack. And it's funny because we are in the most connected time ever. We are in other words, like, we are able to talk to people, from California all the way to China, all the way to Japan, you know what I mean? Beijing, Shanghai, Russia, Europe, you know what I mean? The UK, London. We could talk to whoever. You can message somebody from across the world, man. You can FaceTime somebody across the world, literally. That's never been able to happen before besides this current digital age. And yet, with all this connectivity, we are still, especially in the US, so isolated. We still lack communities. The closest thing we have to communities is Twitter communities now, or X communities, whatever. That's all we really have. So for the Gen Z people, you know what I'm saying, we lack so much community that it's like, no wonder so many of us feel lonely. Every other Gen Z individual feels isolated, feels alone, feels as if they don't have friends, and feels as if they don't fit in. And it's not because they're weird themselves. I mean, you obviously got some weird people, but you feel like you don't fit in because it's like, damn, how am I supposed to make friends in real life? Because making friends on the internet ain't the same. It's not. It's not the same to talk somebody through a screen versus actually see someone in real life and actually, talk to them and hang out with them. You know what I mean? And another thing that even happens when you get older, I don't know if this is happening with a lot of y'all, but I find myself, like, as I get older, for some reason, like, sometimes I be feeling like, man, I don't even feel like making friends no more. Like, I don't even feel like, I just kind of feel like, and I feel like part of that is the conditioning that we've had, because we were the first generation to really be raised on the internet. And I feel like that has had an effect. So now when we get older, we don't really even feel like conversing with other people. We're so much more introverted, and it's fine to be an introvert, but like, we're introverted to the point where we don't even want to converse with other people because it takes energy out of us. We're actually social creatures. And so what happens is we get isolated and we get lonely. You know what I mean? And when we get isolated and lonely, a lot of people are like, well, people don't take that serious enough. But people don't understand that that is what leads to major mental health problems. It's what leads to people self-deleting. It's what leads to people, you know, crashing out. It leads to a bunch of bull. It leads to people doing drugs and all this other type of shit, man. And because we lack community. We lack the ability to talk amongst others our same age, man. And there's so many reasons why. Like for example, Gen Z is a smaller generation. We don't really even have enough people to talk to. That's our age that fully understand. We got to go on the internet and find people on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? And it's sad. It's sad that we don't have friends. And the thing is, if you really think about it, like once you, like, it's crazy because you never really appreciate times until they're past, right? No one ever really appreciates school until you get out of school, right? Like, you never really think of school as like a social place until you finally leave school and look back and be like, damn, now that I'm not in school, there's no requirement for me to be around people. I'm not going to be around people every day. Like, I could go a whole entire day and not say a word. I can go a whole week and not say a word to anybody. Because now you have to make an effort to be social. You have to go out and find clubs and stuff like that. And people will tell you to do that. But the reality of it is that they're few and far between. And the people that are in these clubs, you know, I mean, like basketball, like men's leagues and stuff like that, right? You might find some cool dudes to hang out with, or some cool people to hang out with, or whatever the case may be. But for those of us that's not like sports inclined, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna be honest, what are you gonna do? Join a video game club? And you know, obviously it's like find your hobbies, but let's be real, bro. Most of us, even when we would join these clubs, these social clubs, don't feel like hanging out with people. Like, do y'all ever do this where you meet somebody new and it's like, cool, like, let's hang out, and you never hang out with this person? You know what I mean? It's kind of like the same thing at work too. Like, you make friends at work, but it's like, damn, something in you is like, I wouldn't hang out with this person outside of work though. You know what I mean? It's very difficult to make friends in environments that aren't school, because you're in a more professional setting. You're there to do something. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not just, you know, you're kind of not forced to be there. You don't really have much downtime. You go to these clubs and you do whatever you need to do and you go home. School, you're there for hours, like what, 8 hours a day? And you got to be in class, and you got your friends, and you got lunch, and there's some downtime. You know what I mean? Elementary school, there's recess and stuff like that. It's all about socializing. Socialization is a huge thing in school, and nobody really even like talks about it. Not until after you leave school and realize, like, damn, like all my friends from college were from different states, and I didn't even realize that, dude, when we graduate, I'm never gonna see these motherfuckers again. I'm never gonna see them again. And then you realize, damn, it's just me. And then you go get a job that you don't even really like. So pile that on top of all the bullshit, you know what I mean? All the bullshit of life, bills constantly coming. You by yourself, who do you really have to talk to? Who do you really have? I mean, God forbid you're looking for a girlfriend post-college or post-graduating, post-school. God forbid. Because if you're looking for a girlfriend after you done finished school, nigga, where you gonna find one, bro? Tinder? Hinge? The options are limited and few and far between, bro. Because now it's not like you're around this girl all the time and it's just, you know, easy and simple. You can just go walk and see this girl every day, whatever. Now you gotta really put in effort. You gotta drive to the date. Then you gotta pay for the date. Then you gotta go home and then plan another date. And who know? And people is busy. You might see her 2 times in a month. You know what I mean? And it's tough out here, man. It's tough to make friends. And I feel like not a lot of people are even talking about this, bro. It's tough to make friends, bro. When you get older, it's not even that people don't want to. It's tough to make friends. I mean, God, I ain't even talked about the fact that social media is ruining this shit. Social media has made it so that we want to spend so much time online that we don't even see the value in having friends anymore. We don't see the value in having friends because we're so entertained by our phones. And anytime you do hang out with your homies that you may have, you on your phones the whole time. You go over to your homie house. Remember when you was a kid, you used to go over to your friend's house and y'all used to have play dates and have fun and play Nerf battles and stuff like that, Nerf wars, and build forts and stuff. Now when you go over in your friend's house, y'all both just on TikTok together, scrolling through reels together. It's the same thing you could have did at home, but now you're just doing it with somebody else in their vicinity. Y'all doing the same things together. Y'all don't do nothing unless y'all playing video games. Other than that, y'all scrolling on reels together. Ain't that crazy? So, you know, all this stuff just comes together. It's just interesting, bro. It just makes me think, like, damn, if you don't have a social circle before you leave school, if you don't have a social circle early on in life, if you're not used to socializing, there's a good chance that you will be alone forever. There's a good chance that if you have not developed a relationship by the time you leave college or school, you may never be married. I'm not even gonna lie. In our generation, since there's no communities, how are you gonna meet somebody post-college when you in your 20s, mid-20s? If you 23, 24, 25 watching this, how are you gonna meet somebody? Really? Like, ask yourself that question. Seriously. How are you going to meet somebody? This is going to be the age where marriage dies down. Less families are had. We are actually moving more towards the direction of Japan, because in Japan it's very isolationist. Everything is very individual, right? It's not much family there are obviously families in Japan, but like everything is accommodated to the individual. You work and you go home. You work and you go home. Everything is just by yourself. It's a very, you know, it's like in the city, everything is small and compact, and it's like, man, why is everything so individual? And you might think that, you know, I'm an independent person. I'm individual. Like, I don't need friends. And that's the problem. People don't understand how social we are as like, we are social. We are not supposed to be isolated. That's how people go crazy. That's how people go mad. They isolate themselves, bro. The more you are around people, like, have you ever realized this? Check this out. You want to know why people always go the route of hanging out with their friends more after a breakup, or hanging out with their friends more after some kind of traumatic event, or at least trying to, you know what I'm saying? It's because they know, maybe they've been through something before and they understand, damn, me isolating myself is only gonna make shit worse. I'm gonna be in my head. I'm gonna be going through. But when you hang out with your peoples, you know what I mean, after you done been through some bullshit, it feels better, because it's like, damn, like, at least I got my bros. Because you know somebody there got you. You know, you can relate to someone. But when we start to, as we going towards this individualistic society, we start to not have anyone to relate to. We start to not have anybody to talk to about our problems, and we have to start talking to ourselves. And that's not good, because we tend to overthink. Our mind can be our greatest downfall sometimes. And what the other aspect of being more individual too is this. No one thinks about this, but do you understand that everything that when we are more individual, shit starts to get hella chaotic. In other words, niggas start to do some weirdo shit when they alone. Every weirdo kind of thing, weirdo fetish that people got, they do it alone. So what you think is going to happen as we continue to not make friends, be more individual? Everything's going online now. Even school is about to be going online. So nobody's going to be able to talk to nobody. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just going to be it. It's just going to be you. And guess what's going to end up happening? I hope you, if you on NoFap and all you do is stay inside by yourself, you're destined to fail. You're destined to fail NoFap if you don't have friends or somebody to go outside with. Because I'm not saying you can't fight that temptation, but it is so much more difficult to be on NoFap when all you do is sit inside by yourself. It's so much more difficult to not want to go down the path of doing some bullshit, because you get bored and you don't have shit else to do. And when you don't have shit else to do, you gonna find something to do. Your brain gonna make you find something to do. But it might just be crack. It might just be it might just be black tar heroin. It might be something bad. It might be prostitution. Who knows? You might be into some weird shit. But that's what happens to the idle, bored mind. The individual mind that's not around people. And yes, sure, you can read, and I'm not saying that you can't do things by yourself, but you're not supposed to stay by yourself for long periods of time, years. And sure, people do that and they're fine, but they really aren't fine. You're not supposed to be by yourself. It's the reason why we was meant to get married and live and have a family, a large family. We were supposed to have large families. We're not supposed to just be by ourselves. We supposed to live with other people. That's normal. It's not really natural to just live by yourself. It really ain't. It really ain't, man. Anyway, that's why a lot of people ain't got friends, man. Online, you know, we've just been conditioned. We've been just conditioned to be more individual, man. You know what I'm saying? It's because and the way society is set up, the system is set up so that we can't have friends, we can't talk to each other, and that's causing more bullshit because shit, now we can't really band together and form unions. We ain't going on strike no more, so these jobs ain't gotta pay us no more. None of that shit, man. Anyway, man, I just had to get this off my chest. Let me know what y'all think in the comment section. Peace.